Hey everyone, I'm Tony George from DocSports.com. The 2023-24 NFL season is here. It opens up a Thursday night, week one, with my beloved Kansas City Chiefs, which I've been a fan of for over 50 years. So I'm not a bandwagoner. A lot of years of suffering. Not as many years of suffering as the Detroit Lions fans, who they open up against with on Thursday night. The line currently sits at 6.5, the total 54.5. We're going to discuss this game and ways to bet it. The one thing, I guess, a precursor coming into the NFL season, and I'm speaking from 32 years of experience where I've kicked butt and taken names in the NFL, and I've also had it handed to me in the NFL. So I've been on both sides of the coin, and I speak from experience. I'm not some guy blowing smoke up your butt. Telling you the way it is. It's very difficult to go 60% or over in any sports season, in any sport. And in professional sports, it's becoming more and more difficult. Major League Baseball this year has been an absolute wash for numerous sharp guys and sharp bettors. Bloodbath. NBA last year. And it's kind of hard to handicap and wager the NBA when you don't know who's playing. Ever. Hardly. NFL, there's a lot of moving parts. There's 22 guys on the field at one time, going at breakneck speed, and they're headhunting. There's just a lot of variables. So betting just side and total, there should be more than that in your arsenal if you want to win consistently in the NFL, and that includes in-game wagering, which I do a lot of. We can't put that up on the website because it's in-game and it's real time. That's why I do tweet out some halftime lines, but I even do more than that during the game. Lines in the middle of the third quarter change, and money lines on teams to that. Things you wager that you can hedge against when your team, say you bet, the Bills against, the Texans or something, and lay in a big number, and Josh Allen throws 3 picks in the first half, and they have a punt blocked, and it goes back for a TD, and, Houston's up 3 touchdowns, and they're an 11-point underdog. You can hedge back against that initial wager, because anybody can beat anybody at any given moment. They're all pros. Everybody in the NFL that is playing is one of the best 32 players at that position in the entire universe. There's not that much difference between Houston and Kansas City. Most teams it's like that. Something like that might be like that. But still, anybody can beat anybody. So you want to look at prop bets. You want to look at in-game wagering. You want to look at individual team totals. You want to look at the player props, as I mentioned. There's all kinds of first quarter scoring, halftime lines, first half lines, betting into second half lines. Have these things in your arsenal because you need to temper your expectations a little bit out of the gate. Especially out of the gate. Just like college football. Look at all the ups. There's going to be a Colorado. There's going to be a Duke. There's going to be a Texas State this weekend. Somewhere, somehow, you're going to, on Monday morning, you're going to go, what? Or Sunday night, what in the, was that? Bleep was that? How'd that happen? There's going to be them. They're there. Maybe it's Thursday night. But I'll give you a couple comments on this game and then why I gave you that precursor. Kansas City's laying 6.5. The total's 54.5. The Lions are expected to win their division. I don't know if they can do it. Kansas City's expected to win their division. They've won 7. Kansas City is as close to a dynasty as you're ever going to see again in the NFL. They've won 7 straight division titles. 5 straight AFC championships, 3 of them champions, 2 Super Bowls. You have a starting quarterback that's the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't care if somebody's getting paid more. Deshaun Watson's getting paid more. You think he's better than Mahomes? You got a quarterback that is, in 5 years, has lost 3 divisional games. He's 27-3. I mean, if I put out 30 picks in the NFL all year long and hit 27 of them, you'd actually be nice and call me a good handicapper. I mean, that's unbelievable. But that being said, so Kansas City's consistently good, and they're the reigning Super Bowl champions, and they're playing in the toughest stadium in the NFL to play in. Heat and humidity are going to be a major factor in this game, and you got the Lions coming in wanting to knock off the King. But here I'll let you know a little secret about Kansas City. They are a horrific cover team. The opportunity to play against Kansas City comes when they're laying over 5 points. And here's the opportunity. The Kansas City is going to be a great teaser option this year. No doubt. And they'll be a great teaser option. There's a lot of people, but here's what I'll tell you about this game. And then we'll tell you what our pick is. If you like Detroit, plus the 6.5 against kind of a crappy cover team in their opening game of the year, take them now. Because this is not going to see 7, it's going to see 6 by kickoff. I talked to 2 odds makers here in town. Second of all, if you like Kansas City, wait till Thursday and bet them. Because the half a point here is a big deal. A half a point hook on a fall number in the NFL is something, if you're not aware of, you need to be aware of it, because that is line value. The hook is the half point. If you 3.5, 6.5, 7.5, even take it up to 10.5. You don't have too many spreads over 10 in the NFL. I think you got one this weekend with Baltimore, which is probably warranted because they blow out everybody in game 1, and Houston's going to be a disaster. But stick that with Kansas City for a teaser. But anyway, what I will tell you is, if you're laying 3.5 or 6.5 or 7.5 in the NFL on a team, whether home or on the road, especially on the road, bear in mind that's high risk, because a half a point is everything in this league. Now, if you're on the underdog and you got the hook, you're at an advantage, because we're betting into numbers, we're not betting into games. Okay, so you're at an advantage. So if you like Detroit, take them now. You can still get the hook. If you wait till Thursday, you lost at 36-30, 26-20, possible. And you laid it with Kansas City, and they dominated, but turned it over twice in the red zone. Should have covered. Had the right play, had the right side, just didn't cover. If they didn't cover, you don't have the right friggin' side. You don't see me saying that. It's either a win or a loss. And if you lost, you didn't have the right side. So bear that in mind when it comes to this line. If you like Detroit, take them now. If you like Kansas City, wait till Thursday. Here's the other thing. Team total. That's the free pick. Kansas City over 30.5. Got some numbers here for you. Bear in mind, Andy Reid is 9-1 as the head coach at Kansas City in season openers. Money line's too high, but, one of the reasons why, the last 7 years in a row in Kansas City's season opener, this is pre-Mahomes even, Alex Smith. 7 straight years in a row, they scored 33 or more in their opening game, whether it was home or on the road. Since Patrick Mahomes has been starting the last 5 years for Kansas City, 37 points per game in their season opener, at home or on the road. The team total is 30.5. Last time I checked, Detroit's Achilles heel was their defense. They got into shootouts all year long. One of the better over teams in the league. Did you see a lot of off-season acquisitions for them to stiffen up their defense? They're going to score points. Detroit can score. Goff looks as good as he ever looked his entire career last year. Surrounded by weapons. Lost a couple, brought a couple in, got good backup, all this and that and the other. But they're willing to trade punches on the scoreboard with teams at times. That's not a game you want to get into with Kansas City. You know, and last year they said Kansas City was done, dead in the water, going to be a horrific offense. You're going to find out that Patrick Mahomes is a POS, blah, 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 because Tyreek Hill left the team. They had a better offense last year than they did with Hill the year before and won a Super Bowl. So they're still going to put up points. Have no illusions. Over 30.5 Kansas City team total Thursday night. Doc Sports, free $60, link in the description below. This weekend we will have 4 to 5 plays, including a teaser, and something I haven't done the last 3 or 4 years. I'm going to have a top pick right out of the gate. We got a weak line out there. All picks at Doc Sports are up Thursday. We remain unbeaten in college football, too, with a top pick now under our belt. Told you we were going to be dialed in this year. Haven't lost in college. We're going to have a solid weekend in the NFL out of the gate, too. Low volume, low units except for one pick, and a rock-solid weekend. Get a free $60, link in the description below, over at Docs. And there's a tab on the upper left-hand corner of the website. All kinds of great information over there. Survivor pool picks. I mean, you name it, we got it. 99%. The only thing that costs money over there is you buy a pick. Everything else is free, and you can get informed. Get ready. NFL's here. Let's rock and roll.